welcome to Tea Time. I'm so happy you're joining me tonight. It is Monday night, 8 o'clock, and it's August 3rd. Can you believe it's August already? Listen, I'm going to talk about my weekend really, really quickly and get to my guests because I know everyone is so excited. Friday night, I ended up going to the Valley Stream Band Shell to see my friends Billy Mira and the Hitmen play their hearts out under the stars, and it was a beautiful night. I'm so glad I went and had a good time. So shout out to Billy Mira for having a great show. Saturday, just did things around the house, not too much. And Sunday, I actually was rehearsing because we're having, as some of you may know, my good friend Pepe Cardona, who had a one-hit wonder back in 1970 called Tighter and Tighter, passed away. And back then, his song, Tighter and Tighter, was a one-hit wonder that actually beat out Elvis on the charts that year. And Pepe lost his battle with cancer. And we're having a fundraiser / celebration of his life. The information is on the screen. It's going to be this Wednesday night. So Sunday, my husband helped me pick a song, and I'm actually going to be singing because the night is all about Pepe and his life and music. So my husband's going to be singing. I'm going to be singing. Not my forte, but I could get a note out there. But, you know, it's more acting, comedy, and dancing's my thing. So I want to invite everyone out Wednesday. If you're not doing anything, come to Lindenhurst. It's a great cause for Pepe and just remembering him and his amazing career. All right, let's get to my guest because I've got everyone watching. Hello, Gina and Mike. And everyone else watching, please like the show and share it. I have the beautiful, talented actor, author, producer, animal activist, and so much more. Carolyn Hennesy is in the house. Hi, Carolyn. How are you?
Hello. It still says here, and I don't know if it still says total non-video participants 1. Is that me or is that our producer? Because I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is we're all good. If we weren't, Bobby would take care of it. So listen, I want everyone I think knows who you are, but for those of you who don't know, I want to just let everyone get to know you. You're originally from Encino, California. You're a California girl, grew up in California.
Girl.
And
I'm a valley girl.
And you're a valley girl. And let me tell you something. You come, and I want everyone to know this, you come from an extremely talented family. Your mom was a production designer, and your dad.
My dad was a production designer.
Oh, your dad was a production. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting my fun facts. Now, did he actually win an Academy Award for Best Director in Art Direction in 1966 for Fantastic Voyage?
Art Direction, yes. And my nephew found the clip. My father walking on stage, getting his Oscar handed to him, Hudson. So I'm able to that, and that's the Academy Award that I have rehearsed my Academy Award speech holding. So I'm the only person I know who's rehearsed their speech Oscar. But then thanks to my dad. So yes, my dad was a production designer. Fantastic Voyage, obviously. Logan's Run, King Kong, the one with Jerry, Young Frankenstein. So Dad did a lot of seminal movies before he passed away in 1981.
Wow.
And my aunt is an actress that maybe audience will know, named Barbara Rush.
Your aunt is Barbara Rush, who, God bless her, is 93 today, if I'm right. And she won a Golden Globe in 1954 for It Came from Outer Space.
Yeah. Yes. She worked with all of the greats. Rock Hudson.
Frank Sinatra. Dean Martin.
Marlon Brando, Paul Newman. She was with all of them. So she had a really illustrious career.
She did. God bless her. And you know what? She was also on All My Children back in the day.
Yeah, she was. She played My Knight's mom. Mom. But so it's really cool because she had never done daytime, and she wasn't aware that they throw 30, 40, 50 pages at you a day. She was used to the motion picture schedule where it's, quarter pages a day, or 5 1/8 pages a day. And she started losing, because she was also in her, I think, 70s when she's 70s was on All My Children. And Michael Knight came up, and she started to lose her mind, and up to her and said, look, it's just memory. It goes in, out. It's in and out. And you forget. And 5 minutes later, you forget what you said. You're on to the next thing. So it's real. It really gives your short-term memory a workout. And so I remember her saying that to me. And then we just did some courtroom scenes with me and, on General Hospital, and Michael Knight's character and Nell. And I was able to go up to him and say, garbage. And he went, "Whoa, where'd you hear that?" And I said, "Because you told it to my aunt." And so we had a nice.
Yes, you have been on General Hospital since 2006, correct? And you were only supposed to do a couple of episodes. And I'm so glad you stayed.
You are kidding? Listen, I have a house. I've got a house.
That's right.
Because I said it's Mark Teschner, Jill Farron Phelps, and Bob Guza. The three of them together gave me this house. They gave me the longevity on one of the great television serials of all time. And so I am forever grateful to them, because they saw something in me that worked with Anderson and Spinelli, and Maurice Bernard. My connection with those two men sort of solidified my return to the show, and then a few years later started being, besties with Alexis Davis, with Nancy Lee.
Yeah, well, because your characters are so close, on the show. But I love watching Diane Miller. I mean, GH came back today. It's appropriate, and I personally again want to thank you for coming on. This is great. I have a very close friend in Florida, and she said that you make Diane. She loves your storylines. She has been watching like me. She actually got me hooked on GH back in the 80s. But your character is so sassy. You play a lot of sassy characters.
That's part and parcel of what I do. It's smart and sassy. Take no nonsense. Take no prisoners. And I'm really the only one who can tell Sonny what to do. And
Love
not
it.
get charged.
Love it. You went, I just want to talk about, your studies and what you did. You actually trained at the American Conservatory Theatre and the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London. And as well, you also got and earned a dramatic scholarship to the California State University at Northridge, correct?
Yep. Yes to all.
You've done a lot of studying, and you've done TV, and you've done movies, and you've done voiceovers. There's not too much that you haven't done. Is there one or the other that you prefer to do?
Well, something else that I've done, which is kind of where I got my training, was a lot of stage.
I'm sorry. Yes, you've appeared in over 100 theatrical productions.
Is there one over the other? They are all. They all fall obviously under the same of. You just gotta be truthful in whatever you're saying, stage or in front of a camera, or doing a voiceover in front of a microphone. There's a connection with the audience in the theater that is unlike anything we'll ever experience. Mm-hmm. When you have the audience sort of right here, and you can make them do anything, and they're theater and altered. They're slightly changed a little bit. There's nothing like that, and as a fan, making people laugh, that's like oxygen to me. That's how I breathe. In front of a camera, there's the luxury of getting it right, and doing and working on subtleties and the minutia, and having it all kind of come from the eyes, and just
which you've perfected. You've perfected. you really have.
I want them to know that there's something going on behind this, which and you on stage you have to do kind of paint it with a slightly broader brush. But so can't one more than the other, with the exception of the audience connection on stage and the ability to really delve into the minutia, in front of the camera. And then, of course, there's voice acting, which is, that's wonderful, because you really have to be a good actor. A lot of people that say, "Oh, you know what? I've got a good voice. I think I'll voice over," and I just say, "Go for it. Go for it." But the thing is that first and foremost, you have to be a good actor, because that has to come through, whatever the cute and funky voice is that you're using. So
yeah. Well, speaking about comedy, you actually founded an all-female improv group yourself. You formed a troupe called the Overreaction.
Overreaction. I did not found it. Yeah, it was founded by. It was. You know what? This is how long ago it was. I kind of can't remember.
But you were part of this troupe. You were part of this improv troupe.
Overreaction. Get it?
Love it. Love it. I have a friend, Kristen Tinsley, who is a comic, and she produces a lot of shows. And we did an all-female show called Vagisilly.
See, ovaries, vaginas. It's all. Those are just funny words.
I know. But getting back to TV, you've done a lot of shows. You did Wings. You did Party of Five. A lot of shows that I watched and I adored.
The past, yeah. In fact, someone is writing a book all about about every episode of he's synopsized every episode of Wings, which I thought was so interesting. And he wrote to me and said, I know you were on an episode. Do you have any stories? And I went, well, I actually have a really good story about Wings that doesn't involve any of the major characters on Wings. It was just a particular show that I was on where I played a flight attendant when I was just starting out. A lot of flight attendants. And I was on the same boat as Steve Young, who was the then star quarterback for the 49ers.
Wow.
And everyone, you could just tell, everyone was beside themselves that Steve Young, first of all, he was handsome as the day is long. He was a genius, he was a gridiron genius. Craft service, executive producers, and everyone in between was losing their mind, and they wanted Steve Young to sign their scripts.
Wow.
And I didn't necessarily care much. I just wanted to get the lines out when the cameras were. But Steve Young turned to me, and so they all put their scripts in a pile, and they took them to his dressing room, and he was going to sign them all. And when we were about ready to film, he turned to me and he goes, "Am I doing all right? Am I okay? Do you have any tips?" I said, because he had a scripted interaction with me, and I said, "Steve, you're doing great. It's fantastic. But if you really want my support, I'll be happy to kind of, give you some tips if you sign my script." I did not turn my phone off. Why don't we do that right now and leave everybody hanging? And I said, Steve, sign my script, because the man's right in front of me. I'm no dummy. So
right.
He whipped out a pen and signed my script. Later, we come to find out, after the show's in the can, that one of Steve's associates was seen signing all of the scripts in place, and they were verified. The word went around. So it is entirely possible that the person who did not wasn't going crazy over a script is actually the only one who walked away.
Wow.
Right in front of me.
Yeah, exactly. You saw it. You saw it. I know my husband said I have Paul McCartney's autograph. I'm like, what? This only came up the other day. And I'm like, you actually got Paul McCartney? He goes, no, he goes to this restaurant all the time in the city, and the guy got it for me. And I'm like, when it comes to autographs, unless you actually see them sign it, it's really hard. It's hard.
There was a time where I'd literally done every show imaginable, and I'm very lucky that way. But it's like General Hospital sort of started this wave of work, because from there it was True Blood and Jesse for Disney and Revenge and Cougar Town. We love Cougar Town. So a lot of things that I had a lot of longevity on, which I'm just,
Right. Yeah. What was your very, very first professional paid gig? Was it TV or film?
It was television. If you don't count me being an extra, one of the thousands of people in the stadium for King Kong.
Wow.
when Jessica Lange was tied up, and because the family went down for because my father was the production designer. My first paid job was either, I can't remember, it was so long ago, a Bonnie Franklin. Bonnie Franklin was in he was in One Day. Thank you.
One Day at a Time, right?
One Day at a Time. Bonnie Franklin, and it was a movie of the week when they still had movies of the week, and it was called Your Place or Mine, where I played woman at the text to Bonnie Franklin, who tells her the time. Or
hey, it's a line.
Listen, or it was on General Hospital, where I played Dora, the photographer's assistant, to the photographer who was doing Laura's Miss Star Eyes campaign when Laura was in New York City. And so it was one of those two. I still can't remember. They came right on the heels of each other. I remember having a one-way conversation, and it was with Luke. And so it was just grand. Years later, I'm standing opposite Tony Geary, just talking to him, and he looks at me and he goes, I wish I had more scenes with you. And it's like, well, you don't. It does. You arrived and you've done something right when one of your heroes, because to daytime, Tony Geary is what Brando was to cinema. He just took it to a level never even been considered. I'm all hail. And so when he's standing across from me, it's like that's when you feel good about you feel good about that you've.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to take our first quick break from my sponsors. I want to say hello to my cousin Diane. Everyone watching, please like the show and share it. We're going to be right back with Carolyn Hennesy. Don't go away. We all get married with no intention to get divorced and want that happily ever after. Unfortunately, 50% of marriages don't survive. Kim Tinsley can help you navigate, negotiate, and mediate your divorce. Please give Kim a call at 516-972-3214. That's 516-972-3214. So where do you want to go tonight?
Are you bored?
Oh my God!
Hold on tight. We're gonna coast us.
Well, hi there, Teresa. It's John York from General Hospital. I am just checking in because apparently you have a great talk show called Tea Time on Strong Island TV. I want you to have continued great success and have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, and that's pretty much the key to everything, isn't it? So continued success. I'm proud of you. Have a great day, Teresa. Bye.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad you joined me tonight. I want to say hello to Jennifer. Big fan, big fan. Please like the show and share it. I'm with Carolyn Hennesy from General Hospital. She was on True Blood. Cougar Town as Barb. Hysterical. Oh my God, loved it. You were also in Click with Adam Sandler and Terminator 3 and Legally Blonde 2. I mean, you've done TV, you've done movie, you've done film, you've done voiceovers. You are also an author. You've written not one, not two, not three. You've written a series of a children's book based on a character called Pandora.
Yeah,
and I want to know.
It's
I just
actually
want
based
to
on
know.
classical Greek
Oh, so go ahead. I keep stepping on you. Go ahead.
It's a retelling of that classical Greek myth of Pandora and, the box or the jar, the evil, in it. And so I took it and turned its head a little bit. And it's Pandora being a full grown woman. She's a 13-year girl who finds the box of evil and takes it to school for a giant show and tell project. And naturally all breaks loose and she's got to go get everything that got out of the box back in the box. And so I wrote 7 of those books. And while I was in the middle, I think I'd written 3. And Jill Phelps, who was the EP on General Hospital at the time, came up to me and said, well, we know you can write. We know you're published. So please write a book for us.
And
based
you wrote
on all the characters. The Secret
Life of Damien Spinelli.
Yeah.
It actually reached number 16 on New York Times.
No,
who knew?
Number 11. Number
11? Oh, that fun fact's got to be fixed too.
I think it debuted. Listen, I could be wrong. I think it debuted at number. I have it somewhere. I framed it. I framed the New York Times page. It's somewhere, and it might have been at number 10. Might have been at number 10 on the New York Times bestseller. Anyway, it was there for a day, so I can actually say I'm a New York Times bestseller.
Yes, that's amazing. But how did you originally? How were you originally approached or had the idea for Pandora?
For Pandora, I was in a writing workshop. And I was very much dilettante, very much. I would go kind of for the camaraderie. It was all women at the time, and they were all busy with plays and short stories. And I had just read Wicked by Gregory Maguire, and I thought, wow, misunderstood women in fiction. Because in Wicked, the Wicked Witch of the West, she's not bad. She's just misunderstood.
Right.
So I thought, there's women in fiction that get such a bad rap, and one of them being Pandora, because for the Greeks, very much like Eve, hey, all the evil in the world, well, let's lay it all at the feet of one woman, a man, but a woman.
Right.
That's tacky as far as I'm concerned. That's really bad. So I said, no. Let me do what I can do to kind of rectify this. So she's not this woman with insatiable curiosity that just decides, oh, I can peek in the box. What? And that's why we have all the evil world. She's a 13-year-old girl. And we all remember, I think, when we were 13, both men and women, bring out your inner 13, start reading the series. And it's so much fun. It's written with a tremendous amount of humor. But it's also, we didn't know how to tie our shoes. So how can you find a box of evil? Hey, what's inside? Let's take it to school. So I sort of try to rectify. And the big thing about the series is that we all make mistakes. And so finding a box of evil and taking it to school, that's a big mistake. So how are you going to rectify it? How are you going to take personal responsibility, step up to the plate and say, okay, I'm going to try and make this better. I may
Right.
get killed as I travel trying to get all these evils back in the box. I may die, but I'm
Right.
going out with a bang.
Right.
I'm going to try and make it right. And because I see so many of, or I saw friends of mine with children trying to be their friend, not wanting to mete out any sort of discipline, and they're raising little Charlie Mansons, you know, and we might be seeing some of that in the world today.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree.
So you know, take owning to your mistakes, because we all make them every day, is the only thing that builds character, that makes you that gives you your understanding of the world. So that's when I realized that I had the opportunity to do that. I went full force. I went full bore. So
Well, speaking about evil, I mean, you played last night. I watched Saint Agatha, and for those of you who haven't watched it, watch it. I watched it last night, and it's a horror flick. You scared the hell out of me. It was scary. It was evil. It must have been fun.
it was so much fun. It was 4 weeks spent in a little town outside of Atlanta called a town called Madison, Georgia, where it's a destination because all of the homes are on the historical registry. You can't pass by one of these homes without going, wow, it's like Tara. It's so beautiful. But there's one, and you can't tear any of them down. But the house that we filmed in was falling down around us. Cannot do anything to it. So basically, the camera equipment, when we took it up to the second floor to film in these pre-Civil War bedrooms, we'd watch plaster cracking, the floors. So the house really lent itself to this incredible horror movie. And yes, it's a horror movie. Once again, Mother Superior, me, is not evil. She's just misunderstood because of these young girls that she takes in who are 1950s and being pregnant without being married was a big no-no. So she takes them in, a convent, and she's going to, give them a home, nurse them until they deliver their children. And that's when things go horribly wrong.
Yes, and I recommend it to anyone who loves Carolyn and loves horror movies, because I enjoyed watching it last night. I really did. And you also played the evil queen in what was it called? It was a takeoff for Snow White.
A takeoff of Snow White.
Snow White Christmas.
Oh, that.
It was adorable movie. That's
obviously I have garbage memory, and it goes in one ear and out the other.
Hey, yes. I have no memory, so
absolutely right. Yes, I was the evil stepmother.
Yes,
but again, the evil. Yeah,
and also I loved you in Revenge as well. I mean, these are all great characters and have so many layers.
Evil is so much fun to play. Evil is so much fun because no one really evil ever thinks that they're really evil. Of course not. If the world would simply spin the way I would like it to spin, everyone would be happy.
Yeah.
So much, no one understands. So that's where you get the true psychopathology.
I loved it. You also are have accepted numerous awards over the years too. In 2000, again, my fun facts: you were LA Drama Critics Circle Outstanding Comedic Actress, and 2007 TV Guide Best of 2007 Best Supporting Actress in GH. You are nominated for a Daytime Emmy. In 2017, you won a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting or Guest Actress in a Digital Daytime Drama. And I think it was called
The Bay.
The Bay?
The Bay. It's called The Bay. Yes. Yeah. That was wonderful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a few little statuettes in the house. They're around somewhere. I'm not quite sure where they are. But no, winning the Emmy was lovely because it's interesting. I've the daytime Emmys are only the daytime Emmys because they were part of primetime. But when they were part of primetime, I believe it was just the Emmy for best daytime drama, and I think there was a best actor and actress, and that was it. And so, if we had stayed under the umbrella of the primetime Emmys, the Emmy Award would be 3 days long.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we split off, and we have the daytime Emmys, but they are no less the Emmys than the primetime. They are exactly the same. They weigh the same, and it's for achievements for shows that don't have, just simply aren't on primetime.
Right.
And so they're equally, as far as I'm concerned, they should be equally as the primetime Emmys. So winning one of those was a real highlight. And I'm still so grateful because it's you say, well, they can't take that away from me.
You're right.
You're
absolutely right.
I can chisel it on my tombstone. And you were winner, and just telling off. That's
Is there anyone who you want to work with that you haven't yet?
Oh gosh, yes, yes. I'd love to work with Ricky Gervais.
Oh, he's hysterical.
He's so funny. There are individuals in Hollywood that have, I think, a vendetta against Ricky Gervais because of what he says on during the Golden Globes.
You can't take it personally. You can't. Everyone's so sensitive now. We talk about this in comedy all the time about how everyone's so sensitive. It's comedy. It's
meant to make you laugh. It's meant to kind of be universal. It's meant to tickle your funny bone. It's meant to make you think, but it's primarily meant to laugh. And a boatload of it is true. And Hollywood doesn't like that. And I think if I am ever lucky enough to be skewered by Ricky Gervais, and first
you made it.
I'll know I've done something wrong. That's number one. Number two, I probably deserve it. But his mind just works. Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant together, their mind on a different level, and I would love to kind of get close to that. I would also love to work with Matt and Trey, who created Mark and created the Book of Mormon. Just genius is evident. It's evident. It makes itself evident. So I'd love to work with actors. I'd love to work at some point with Helen Mirren. Oi. Yeah. I'd love to. And Jeffrey Rush, who I think he's exceptional. So
let me ask you a question, since you have this writing experience behind you between Pandora and the Secret Life of Damien Spinelli. Have you ever thought about writing your own biography?
My own biography? Not yet.
Well, because if you write it, it'll be right.
And it'll probably be funny. No, I don't think of myself as warranting it yet. But okay. I might, theatrical anecdotes. Yeah. I'm going to give it, maybe we'll give it another 10 years and we'll see what transpires.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a plan. That sounds like a plan. As a matter of fact, you have this beautiful picture behind you of you actually, the other side. There you go. Doing trapeze. And I have to tell you, and my viewers and my listeners, that a couple of years back, I was at a Long Island park called Eisenhower Park, and they had trapeze set up. And I'm just looking up and I'm watching and I'm like, that is so cool. And let me tell you something. When they have it set up again, I definitely want to do it. I
Go into the city. I know they've got, it's called TSNY, Trapeze School, New York. I think it's still set up on the pier. I hope that COVID has not caused it to close. I hope it's reopened.
I will definitely look into that. But what made you get into doing trapeze? And you have to have major upper body strength and core strength to do that.
I'm making a muscle. See, now you can. And by the way, I think I actually caught that bar. That's a great, yeah, I caught that bar. I needed to learn the trapeze called the static trapeze or the hanging trapeze. You see that a lot in Cirque du Soleil for a production of Comedy of Errors, of Shakespeare's Comedy of Errors.
Wow.
And the had to be up on trapezes, so I needed to learn it, fell in love with it, kept at it, and then 20 years ago, some friends were visiting some other friends in Woodland Hills, and they walked out in the backyard and they looked over into the neighbor's yard and saw this huge trapeze rig. And they called me on the phone and they said, "We know trapeze, get over here right away." And I came over and I walked into their neighbor's backyard and I said, "Hi, what do you do here?" And I took my first lesson and that was it. That was it. It is more fun humans should be able to have because humans are doing something that we're not meant to be flipping upside down. But if you can do it, and I always say, go up, find a place, take a swing. That's all you need to do. If it becomes and passion, great. You can, write hate letters.
So
to me.
it gives new meaning to the question, do you swing?
Swing. And the answer is unquestionably yes. So but also if you only take one swing, you will have done something that 99.9% of the people on the planet have never done before. And it does give you a sense of special, because if you can climb up that ladder and stand on that platform and take a swing, you can worlds. You can do anything. You can do anything. You can walk through fire.
I'll tell you the truth. We talked a little bit before the show about my life and what I went through 5 years ago. And that just puts stuff into perspective for me as far as I never say no to anything because I don't know where it's going to lead me or take me. So I'm definitely going to do this. This is definitely going to be done. I will look into that place in Manhattan, and I'm definitely going to do this because I'm not afraid of heights. I'm actually claustrophobic. So when I watched St. Agatha last night and I watched that coffin scene, I was hyperventilating just by watching it because I'm just so claustrophobic. But that I can do. I could swing. I could definitely swing.
You can swing. You can.
I can definitely swing. Yeah. And on that note, we're going to take another quick break. Don't go away. We have more with Carolyn Hennesy. Let's listen to my sponsors. We'll be right back. Don't go away, everyone.
So where do you want to go tonight? Why don't we go to Coast? Oh, cool. I heard it's a great place. Let's check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Oh my God.
We all get married with no intention to get divorced and want that happily ever after. Unfortunately, 50% of marriages don't survive. Kim Tinsley can help you navigate, negotiate, and mediate your divorce. Please give Kim a call at 516-972-3214. That's 516-972-3214.
Hey, everybody. everybody. Welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad you joined me tonight. I'm here with Carolyn Hennesy. You know her from General Hospital and True Blood and Cougar Town and on all these wonderful, wonderful shows, movies, film, TV, voiceovers. She's done it all. You've done voiceovers for Bambi too, and right?
Voice of Bambi's deceased mother in
Yes.
Bambi 2. Yes.
And a lot of video games too. A lot of video games.
Yeah, I mean those are things where you just kind of you get the phone call, they say come in, yes, and they try and give you the back, but a video game, it's that's meant to be hours of time that the player plays. So there are so many stories and backstories, and I would be sitting listening for 6 hours to the backstory of some of these games, and it's like, you know what, just tell me what this character's doing. Tell me what they're doing, why they're doing it, and where they go from here, right? And so a lot of people say, well, you were the voice of this, and I went, okay, fine. I'm not sure. Did you like it?
I just want to talk briefly about a podcast that you mentioned that you do. You're an animal activist. That's very, 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 very important to you.
But let me just say, activism versus advocacy. It's a real big difference. And I am not an activist. I'm an advocate for animals. Mm-hmm. And if the difference is in and painting with a very, very broad brush, as opposed to activists, advocates understand and champion the necessity for modern zoos and aquariums, especially in this day and age at this point in time. If it were 100 years ago, then you would say we need to learn how to work and live and play and be animals differently, where we hopefully won't need zoos in the future. But now, because there are no more wild animals are becoming extinct at a rate of up between 50 and 160 species a day. So modern zoos and aquariums are the last arcs of preservation. They're the last safe spaces, if you will. So activists do not, generally speaking, understand that. They want to dispense with zoos and aquariums and let all the animals roam out in the wild, where if we did that, they would be killed. So that's it's real world problems with real world solutions, and that is what I tried to tackle. Cast Animal Magnetism. It's been hiatus for a little bit because
you produce and host Animal Magnetism, and that ran for a while, and you want to bring that back eventually, right?
Yep. During COVID, the studio was closed down, and am technically a Luddite, so I'm not quite sure how to. I'm not quite sure how to do it here. COVID is, hopefully we're kind of coming out, and people are coming back to work.Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so.
We need to.
Yeah.
So I'd like, a production company and someone who will host and sponsors.
Yeah. And in 2016, you were named American Humane Association Celebrity Ambassador. Is that right?
I'm an ambassador for American Humane. Yes, exactly. One of the oldest and literally one of the top 5 charities, certainly animal charities. And the work they do, and 92 cents, might even be higher, but let's just say 92 cents out of every dollar that is donated to American Humane actually goes towards the animals. Does not go into, staffing.
That's major. That's major. That's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I love American Humane. So dollars to American Humane. And they're global. They do work everywhere, but they're extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, we have about 10 minutes left, and that's how fast this goes. And in 10 minutes, I actually want to talk about what you have coming up. You have some things that you have done that are some projects that you've done that I don't know if either they're out yet or being released. again, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's something called failure to parent.
Failure to parent. Yeah, that's, I think we did a pilot episode, and Jake, who's the creator and who stars in it, he's shopping it every, such a funny premise. It's a kind of a wholesome dad who loses his wife, and his daughter is just his daughter kind of raising him, if that makes any sense. And I'm crazy neighbor, and that's, yeah, it's wonderful. It's
What
really,
about
really,
Farmhouse? Farmhouse?
Oh, Farmhouse. That was that. You know what? That was just a USC student film that really turned out well. That I did expressly for the daughter of an acquaintance of mine.
Oh, so, that's nice. That's sweet. What about Fatal Affair?
That's already out. That's been out for a couple of weeks now, and people can find it on. They can find it online, streaming online. I think it's on Netflix. I believe it's on Netflix. Fatal Affair.
And what about The Swing of Things?
Oh, The Swing of Things is out. Speaking of The Swing of Things, that's out. That found. Oh, I should know all these things. I should know them. Just look up The Swing of Things. The Jamaican.
That's okay. Everyone could Google it.
Comedy.
Google it, or definitely look it up. So listen,
yeah.
I just want to thank everyone for watching. My daughter Valerie Manzo is watching. Would you mind giving a shout out to my daughter for me?
Would I mind? Please. Hey Valerie, how you doing? Take your mom to trapeze class, and then you can swing too. And it'll be a mother-daughter bonding experience.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. All right. So listen, I am celebrating 2 years of doing Tea Time with Teresa this month. And you yourself have an anniversary coming up. You will be celebrating 20 years.
Let me see. 20. That's my sponsor sent this to me. It's a heavy. It's my 20-year chip for AA, for Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yes.
So that is. I thank my sponsor, Katie Dowdles.
Congratulations on 20 years. That's a huge achievement. I know there are a lot of people out there that appreciate you sharing this with them. You know?
Listen, I always say, when I first got contact lenses, it's like, if I can contact lens, anyone can do it. You know, and I'm not going to be that glib, just 20 years, anyone can. I will say this is achievable. It is achievable. It takes a boatload of work, and it is truly one day at a time. But if it is achievable. So, yes. And my love and prayers go out to anyone in your audience who is in recovery. It's like, stick to it.
Well, with COVID going on now, I know it's hard for a lot of people to get to a meeting. So like yourself, a lot of people are doing the online.
Yeah, you can Zoom. You can find, I think you can go to, again, you can Google AA and Google online meetings during COVID, and you can find them. You can find them.
Yeah,
so,
they're definitely out there. Joanne in Florida, Joanne Norton says, awesome achievement. She said Fatal Affair is on Netflix. Thank you. She said she's definitely going to watch it. She totally loves you, loves GH. I know that so many people again are just thrilled to see you. And again, I wanna thank you from the bottom of my heart to take the time out to do the show. It means the world to me. And again, I've followed you and your career, and all we want to do as actors is we just want to work. We want to be working actors. If fame comes, great. We just want to be working actors. And a lot of people, I explained to my parents, right now, our industry is the last industry to return back to work. And I had so many gigs lined up for myself that were canceled and have to be rescheduled, and we're all just going with the flow. And I know in LA, I know you guys also are sitting tight and trying to get back to life the way it was before.
Well, you froze up there for a little bit, so I'm going to assume that you were talking about this industry being one of the last ones to kind of come back.
Yes.
And yeah, and we are, as you know, we're back at General Hospital, and I was filming last week, and we're back. But wow,
So what precautions are they taking? Are they taking temperatures? Are they?
What precautions aren't they taking? Would
Right.
be easier to list. Yes, temperatures. They're doing swabs, masks up one side and down the other. You can only remove your mask if you're in your dressing room with nobody else, or if you are about to speak a line and the cameras are rolling. I mean, they have to call now masks off, and that's right before they count down.
Wow.
We were.
So is there any little, I don't know. I mean, I watched Hello Nancy David first. Went to high school with Nancy, love her. I watched it today, and I was thrilled for it to be back. I mean, you get withdrawals, you know, and you're like dying to know what's going on with every character. I was in shock I'm not going to give a spoiler alert for people who don't see it and they watch it another time. I was in shock. I was in shock of what happened today in the courtroom. Total shock. That my jaw dropped. And I went, oh, and I covered my mouth and I was like, wow, I didn't see that coming. So I know it's only going to get better from here. I know you can't get into specific details, but can you tell me if Diane Miller eventually has another love interest who's more available?
Who's more available? Who's on camera? Not that I know of. As far as I know, Diane is very happy with Max. We never see Max. I wish we would, because Dirk Cheatwood is
I know
fun to work with. But Diane and Max are supposedly very, very happy.
Okay, I'll take it. But I do want to see you and Alexis go on a double date or something.
Listen, yeah, absolutely. But who's Alexis with now? You know, I mean,
I know. I know. It's
kind of a bad girl. She's been a little naughty. you know, lying in front of things. Yes, bad. So we'll see what happens with her. I would just love somebody steady and have somebody that I could actually be with on the show.
Yes, absolutely.
I always Diane Miller and Luke Spencer.
Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? Well, I know Tracy made a little comeback and left. Yeah. So you never know.
I think and Luke could have some incredible banter. The funny.
Oh, I can so see that.
Yeah.
So listen, I just want to. I know I got to let you go in a minute. I just want to thank Road Trip. Julia's saying Road Trip. I just want to thank everyone for watching, tuning in. Please like the show and share it. Yeah. I want to personally, again, thank Carolyn Hennesy. I just want to shout out real quick how people can follow you and watch you. You have CarolynHennessy.com. You have your own beautiful website. She also teaches. If anyone wants to study with her, you can sign up online. And that's something that I'm might be looking into. And also Carolyn Hennesy Sky Studio is another one.
Studio is where you can find me if you want, coaching.
Right, right. And please follow her, watch her, like her, contact her. Again, from the bottom of my heart, Carolyn, thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure. My pleasure, truly.
I appreciate it. Just stay there for one quick second. Everyone, have a great week. Wash your hands, wear your mask, do what you got to do. And I'll see you next week. Ciao, everybody.